What up? What up? What up? Greetings. Good evening, everybody. It's your boy Rich. Real Talk with Rich back in the building. Want to give everybody a shout out. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you've had a great weekend. What's up to the chat? Everything's everything. Hope you guys are doing well. And like I always like to say, I am better than I deserve. So tonight we got a show. And we back in this building. Want to shout out to Black Comic Lords. Want to shout out Black Superheroes Forever. All of our affiliates, all of our friends, and a few of our haters. Yes, indeed. We here to talk comics. We're here to talk about life. We're here to talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So, first of all, I just want to say everything is good. You know, I went to shout out to H Town. I went home for a couple of days and checked on my pops, hung out with my daughter, and hit a few shops while I was there, and had a good time and had to run back this way and get ready for Sunday. And went to church this morning, had a good day at church, and then I had a nice church nap. Came home and listened to a little bit of Sly Stone. Got ready for this show, and now we're here. So that's how my Sunday's been. So I've had a great Sunday. Looking for a great Sunday evening. What's going on? What up, folks? So, brothers and sisters, tonight we got to talk Blade, and that's going to be our first article, Low Hanging Fruit. And that's a segment of a show where we talk about the news and things of that nature. So tonight, we're talking about a comicbook.com article. Blade writer Brian Hill takes the vampire hunter to uncharted territory. So basically, we're getting ready to have a new Blade run. That run starts this month, actually July the 19th, I think is when the book is going to drop. And just to let you guys know, final cutoff date just passed up. So if you didn't order it or pre-order it, you're going to have to go to the shelves and grab it. So, but we do have a new Blade book coming out. Brian Hill's the writer. Brian Hill is written on Batman and the Outsiders, among other things. And so we're looking forward to that. But in this particular article, he talks about doing some things with Blade, like, for example, bringing some characters or some people from his past into the story. He talked a lot about, in the first part of the article, he talks a little bit about Brielle. We just had the Bloodline run, which was like 5 issues, I think it was. And, but Brielle Brooks is not going to really be in this first story arc. This is going to be basically a Blade book. Blade is going to be kind of chilling. He's going to be doing what Blade does. He's going to be kind of like on a lonely road. It's just going to basically be him and his past and confronting his past. And so I'm looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we can get a Blade book, that's what's up. So, I'm looking forward to it. But he kind of says that he wants, Blade to be established, so he's gonna, take people back to some of his foundation or whatever. But when we talk about his past, Blade has run into a lot of people. And so we're gonna probably get some welcome surprises. Now, will we get stuff back from, Legion of Monsters and stuff like that? I don't know. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to it. So Couching and Slouching says, pre-ordered covers A with the negative space variant. Cannot wait for this book coming out. Yep, only got a few more days, my brother. Only a few more days. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Blade is Blade now. We don't know what's going on with the movie. And I'll be honest, I'm just past the point of caring about the movie. I just really don't care. Y'all get it together, Marvel, and just holler at us when you got a trailer. I don't want to talk about rap production. I don't want the news about we just did this, we just did that. We got stills of Muhammad Ali doing stunts. I don't want none of that. I want a trailer. Don't talk to me until you get a trailer. And please let it be some action, okay? Because I don't need a moody emo vampire killer. I need somebody in shades with a blade, ready to hack a vampire. I don't need much else. You really don't need a story. Just have him just hack up vampires from beginning credits to the end credits. And I'm here for Okay. That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what's up with Blade. So we got a book coming out this month. You know what I'm saying? That, put that on your pull list. Tell your LCS that you want this book. You know what I'm saying? It's too late to pre-order already for this month. But you can pre-order the next book the next month, you know, in September or in August, I should say, and September. The previews are already out for the September issue 3 already. So kind of already know where it's going to go. But I'm looking for see what Brian Hill brings to the character. And that's what's up. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that, you know what I'm saying, as far as that goes. So, anyway, Blade #1 comes out July 19th. So, please check it out. Okay. Next article, well, not next article. Next is a review of the Blackening. Okay. This is probably going to be the fastest review discussion of a movie, comic, whatever, in the history of Black comic lords. This was trash. This was trash. Shout out to Tim Story. He's the guy that did Fantastic Four. He's the mastermind behind this crap. And I'm trying to be kind, but that movie was trash. That movie was trash. Corny jokes, bad acting. There's nothing redeemable about this movie. Now let me give you the story and why I am roasting this movie. Okay, my wife and I just celebrated our anniversary. Okay, now when you celebrate your anniversary with your lady, you want to do something special, of course. You want to, like, you know, have a good time. And, you know, usually when you have an anniversary, you go somewhere elegant and you just want to chill with her and just gaze into her eyes and just to really appreciate who she is and who you are to her. But no, not your boy Rich. Rich wanted to do something different this year. Rich was like, "Little honey, let's go see a movie. Let's go to an upscale movie theater where we can have dinner and watch the movie together." That was the plan, okay? That was the plan. And of course, you know, my wife is an old school Black woman. We like movies with Black people in them. It's rare we go see movies. If it ain't no melanin on the screen, we ain't going to see it. That's just kind of how we get down. So so we go to this theater, right? And full disclosure, I spent $75 at the movie theater. That's dinner, that's popcorn, that's plush seats, whatever. It was $75. And we watched The Blackening. And bro, I was like, this is terrible. I mean, I'm talking about Soul Plane terrible. Except Soul Plane had real comedians and real real talent. No disrespect to Jay Farrow, but this wasn't it. This was not it. And to give you the scenario behind this, right? Okay, now basically a group of people that went to college get together for Juneteenth weekend or whatever, right? To celebrate, okay? Now their idea of celebrating is going to a cabin in the woods, right? Doing Molly, smoking weed, and playing a coon game. I don't know. But there's a killer on the loose, and he makes them play this game, and I can't even say hilarity ensues. I would just simply say that it was a waste of money. Now, the food was good. If the food had been terrible, I'd have been comfortable going to the management and ask for my money back. That's how bad this movie is. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have gone to see it. I try to support Black movies with Black people attached to them, but this wasn't it. They call it the Blackening. They should call it the Black Eye. It was trash. And I hate saying that or whatever, but that was nothing. And when I went, I should have known when I went to the theater, and it was literally probably 10 people in the movie theater with us. And, again, try to support. But when you put something out there like that, you got to know that, okay, it's okay to do satire. I'm cool with satire. I like satire. I mean, I'm a fan of the movie. I mean, the show Atlanta. Lots of satire in that. But if you're going to try to pull off satire, you need to really be kind of clever with it. There was nothing redeemable about this. I cannot tell nobody to spend their money. Matter of fact, it needs to go straight to Tubi. It don't need to go to Prime. It don't need to go to HBO Max. It don't need to go to Showtime. It needs to go straight to Tubi. And they need to connect a place where, you know what? We're going to pay you to watch it, because we don't want to cost you any money. We need to pay you to watch it. That's kind of how it was. Please do not spend your money on that garbage. Sorry, Tim. Your movie was trash, bro. And I like you. You were the brains behind the Fantastic Four movie, or the couple of movies that came out, but you blew this one, bro. You blew this. This was a wet fart. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, please save your money. Don't go see this. All right, I'm done with that. Derek, let's go to the next. Let's get to some good stuff, okay? Secret Invasion, episode 2. Okay. Now, let me say this about Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion as a comic was pretty incredible, right? And as an incredible comic book, and them trying to do this on screen, it's cool. All right. When I heard that they were going to do it, I was like, it's cool. Why Secret Invasion? I don't know. But they want to do it? Fine. And listen, Samuel L. is attached to this, of course, through Captain Marvel. I'm here for Samuel L. Jackson. I don't care what Sam does. If Sam is on screen, I'm going to watch it. Okay? I'm going to watch it because I'm looking for Samuel L. Jackson to go Samuel L. Jackson. Now, he's been a cool Nick Fury. He's been walking around with, it seemed like he just left the Shaft movie set and just walked onto the Avengers set, because he was in that long leather jacket, right? They just put a patch over his eye, and he's good. He's cool. But we have not had a Samuel L. Jackson moment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got that in episode 2. I was ready for him to use a couple of expletives to go along with it. Because, dude, when they was in the train and he was talking to Talos, he was giving Talos some of his mind. But I'm like, they should have just, I hope that there is a uncut thing that they can give us a link to, and we can watch him, and we can watch Samuel L. Jackson do what Samuel L. Jackson does in a movie, which nobody knows how to cuss somebody out like Samuel L. Jackson. But we got Sam doing his thing in this particular episode. Now, I don't want to spoil it because I know some of y'all may have not watched it. You may not even care to watch it, but it's okay. I'm telling you, this was a good episode. Overall, this was a good episode. I was pleasantly surprised. And there is an exchange between Nick Fury and Colonel Rhodes that's priceless. That's worth the price of admission. To watch two black men debate one another over who's mediocre men. I mean, there was a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of code and a lot of shade in that scene. And I loved every minute of it. Now, just Spoiler, not spoiler. Rhodey is a Skrull. I am of the opinion that Rhodey is a Skrull. Okay, that dude, that dude look like he a puppet. I love Don Cheadle. He is the man. I love Don Cheadle. I loved his work in Devil in the Blue Dress when he played Mouse. I love his work as Miles Davis. I love everything that guy does. When he did Hotel Rwanda, but I just do not like him as War Machine. Now he's a cool War Machine, and he's cool. He's serviceable, but I have just not really dug him or whatever. But now he's looking real unfamiliar to me, and so he's having this exchange with Nick Fury, and he basically fires Nick Fury. He tells me, "They sent you to fire me." It's almost like he was working for Marvel, and Marvel sent him to do that. That's the way I took it. That's how I saw it. But the funny thing to me was when he gets ready to escort him out, and he moves dude over. He said, "No, I don't think Rhodey's a Skrull. I think he's a Skrull. He did some Skrull activity though. I just don't like how he handled my man. That's all. I just didn't like how he handled my man." But Nick told him, he said, "Look, I am Nick Fury. When I'm out, I'm in." I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I enjoyed Secret Invasion. It was a real good episode. Now, the last part of this episode threw me a loop. And the loop, because I'm like, we see Nick's wife, or we see a Skrull chopping up some cucumbers or carrots or whatever it was. He walks through the door. She changes her form. He gives her a nice, loving kiss, right? So the question is, do he know that she's a Skrull? I absolutely believe that he knows that she's a Skrull. He spent a lot of time with the Skrulls. And I just thought that was a very, very good, rich episode. I can't wait for episode 3. How they gonna wrap this all up in 6 episodes, I do not know. Because Savick, that dude, that other black dude, that dude's a gangster. That dude's a monster. I don't know how they gonna handle him. Will we get to see Super Skrulls? I don't know. That's what they kind of going after. We'll see. But yeah, man, I enjoyed episode 2 of Secret Invasion. If you have not watched Secret Invasion, you need to go get a late pass or get somebody's email or passcode and watch Disney Plus. Holler at Herschel, get a 5-stick, something. But you need to be watching Secret Invasion. So we'll see what's up. Let me get some of these comments. He says, okay, I didn't try not to spoil anything, Tamiko, but I like what you said. It was peak blackness. Yeah, that was good. Now, Robert Mamone Jr. says, definitely enjoying Secret Invasion, like this secret agent part of the Marvel Universe. Not everything is superheroes. Absolutely. Charles Stewart said he's not the ops. I hope not, bro. I hope not. I hope he's not. But he just, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. And here's the thing. Shout out to Rhodey, because he did his thing with the French and with he told him, he said, look, the president is too busy, watching over the whole world and that kind of thing. You get me, deal with it. That was a lot of shade there. Yeah, I enjoy it. So Martin Jason, I'm sure he knows. So yeah, that's man. That's the thing about Skrulls. Anybody can be a Skrull. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, Secret Invasion was dope. Speaking of people watching Secret Invasion, there's an article talking about And all of these articles have perfect timing. Secret Invasion, Marvel's second lowest premiere viewing figures. Okay. In essence, here's the deal. Only Miss Marvel had lower viewership. The viewing figures are in for the first episode of Secret Invasion, and the new Marvel show isn't soaring to new heights on Disney Plus. According to Samba TV, 994,000 U.S. household tuned in for episode 1, 994,000 of the Samuel L. Jackson-led series, which dropped June 21st during its first 5 days on streaming. This is only the second lowest figure of any Marvel show, only to Miss Marvel, which comes behind it at 775,000. Tuning in for Kamala Khan's exploits when it first premiered in June of 2022. By contrast, the premiere She-Hulk, the most recent MCU show before Secret Invasion, had 1.5 million views, and the first episodes, Loki and Moon Knight, had 2.5 and 1.8 million viewers, respectively. Okay. Now, let me say this. What does this say, really? It says to me two things, two obvious things. One, white people show up for white people stuff. Okay? That's what it says to me, number one. And number two, others get in where you fit in. That's just the reality of the situation. I find it funny that She-Hulk, which got a lot of hate, still had over 1.5 million people to watch it. Okay, that's almost double of what's watching Secret Invasion, and yet Loki and Moon Knight had 2.5 million and 1.8. So, it is what it is, and I think that they put this news out to kind of disparage, people of color, saying, see, nobody really wants to see y'all on screen. Nobody really, they're not saying that, but they're implying that. And again, Samuel L. Jackson has been in the MCU since the very beginning. And I know, Tamika, you said I wouldn't pay any attention to that, consider these so-called low-view shows are often the best ones. I get it, but at the same time, I understand, me personally, that they're sending a message. And the message is that this stuff doesn't, or it isn't, or it's woke, or it's not true fandom stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's not what they're doing, then it doesn't matter. Think about Moon Knight, for example. Okay. I think the Moon Knight show was incredible. But I also think She-Hulk was incredible. I also think Kamala Khan's show was incredible. Miss Marvel was incredible. And I recognize that some stuff is for me and some stuff is not for me. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's whether or not the show is entertaining. I mean, I think it's a slap in the face to Nick Fury and to Samuel L. Jackson, who has put in more work than anybody that's in the MCU right now. No one has been in more movies than Samuel L. Jackson, more shows than Samuel L. Jackson. He's the guy. And so for that kind of to be put out there like that, and I like something he said recently. He was interviewed, and they talked about how Nick Fury and Rhodey haven't been to Wakanda. That's crazy when you think about it. But this is where we are. So Marvel, y'all keep doing y'all thing or whatever. I just know that if we don't support, this stuff will get canceled. This stuff will not get a second look. All of those things. So we can't fully ignore the agenda that's kind of being, pushed out there on us, whatever. Because that's the thing with these guys. Some of these guys, they make their money through their clicks and their views, trashing, content that happens to have us in it. I don't like that myself. But we'll see. We'll see. He said, "You about to make me come on the show yet?" No, you're not. You're gonna stay right where you are, Herschel. Because we done talking about the MCU. Let's move on. So, you know, again, I'm enjoying Secret Invasion, and if you're not watching it, shame on you. I think Samuel L. Jackson is worth the price of admission. So that's that. So I want to talk a little bit about Ghostlight. Okay, Ghostlight just wrapped up, and we interviewed Dr. John Jennings just on Friday night. Great conversation, great conversation. Great book, great book. And I will simply say that I'm going to give it. If I have to give it a rating, out of 5 stars, I'm gonna give it 4. Okay, I'm gonna give it 4 because the writing was incredible. The art was not so much. It wasn't my taste. I'll say it like that. I felt like the art could have been better. You put Torrent Clark on covers or whatever, right? And then you get inside the book, and the book is not what's on the cover. That's been a problem at Marvel and DC for a while now, and it's why a lot of people don't like Marvel and DC, because it's almost false advertising when you think about it. But I do think that this particular book will read and fare better as a trade. It's a great book about the cosmic and Afrofuturism woven all together with things like music. I love the connection that they made with jazz and improvisation and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's what I would say George Clinton coined as cosmic slop. It was incredible. It was incredible. And I think that people don't realize, or people are going to know later on, how good this particular book was. It's a very geeky book. It's really a throwback. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a throwback to the days when you read a comic book, you literally would have to like almost grab a dictionary to kind of follow along, because some of the science that was talked about in this book, that everybody don't understand that science like that. You'd have to literally learn what words mean and that kind of thing. That's something I think comics need to like do more of. So I salute John Jennings, man, for doing this thing. Seco says Archie comics have done that for decades with those covers not matching the story content. Yeah, maybe they should let Archie continue to do that, but don't do that. Don't do that to your Marvel and your DC. Stop doing that. To me, it's okay if you want to give people opportunities or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you cannot give somebody an amazing cover and then they open the book and it's like, okay, this is not what this looks like on the outside. I'm looking for something that is similar or reflect, or at least nothing else relates to what I'm looking at. There's an aesthetic that comes with reading comics and having pictures. You can't get away from it. And I don't want to just fully criticize the art, because if John Jennings had done the art as well, I'd have been good, because John has his own style. When I see an artwork by John Jennings, I know that's John Jennings. That's the trademark of a good artist, versus giving somebody that nobody knows really, and their art style is nondescript or whatever. And that's kind of what we got in Ghostlight. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the book itself, the writing itself is incredible. I just wanted the art, in my opinion, to be better. Robert Monroe says covers today are basically posters. Yeah. Yep. This is then stop doing variant covers. Well, it is what it is. Dathan verse says, I remember those days we learned as we were entertained. Absolutely. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Again, that was one of the fun parts about comics. You know what I'm saying? That's what made comics special. And again, I don't want to just say that everybody has to do what John is doing, but clearly John is a throwback from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that read books when he was younger, because again, that's one of the things that made comic books fun. It was edutainment, as my man Paul would like to say. So yeah, so I really enjoyed that. He says, Herb says NBC versus doing a new Phantom TV show. Hopefully it'll be set in a Black African community like in the comics. And we'll see. We'll get to chat talk later a little bit. But we'll talk about all that kind of good stuff too. So with that said, I want to make a special, not announcement or whatever, but I just want to wish Billy Graham happy birthday. Billy Graham had a birthday on yesterday. And he would, if he had lived or he had been, if he would be still alive, he would be 88 years old. The legendary Billy Graham, who was born William Henderson Graham on July 1st, 1935. For those who don't know, he was the first artist on Luke Cage and the incredible artist on the Jungle Action Don McGregor books. Incredible artist, very, very soul-stirring art. Now, we talked about art earlier, right? About the importance of art. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a Billy Graham tribute that we did for Black History Month in honor of his birthday. And if you don't know who Billy Graham is, Google him. Find out. Go get some of his books. Go check out some of his art. The man was a legend. The man is a legend. So we're going to take a quick break, watch that, and come back, and we're going to get into our spotlight. See you in a minute.
Dear Mr. Billy Graham, I know this letter is late, but you know what they say, better late than never. And I'm writing to you because I know you'll never read this or hear this. It's a measure of therapy for me, I guess. Wondering how you never get mentioned when you are really only one of the few worth mentioning. After all, I don't think Sam and Dave had you in mind, but without question, you are a soul man. How else can you explain how a man can draw tears so well if he never shed any tears of his own? Yes, and I hear music, especially drums, when I see jungle action panels. And when I see Luke Cage panels, I hear the jukebox blaring out horns in the after hours joint. I guess I'm trying to say, Mr. Graham, that I dig your style, and you deserve to be celebrated like the heroes you drew. And like I said, you won't see or hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you, Mr. Billy Graham. You are a Black history legend. Respectfully, the Black Comic Lords. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, peace.
Yo. Yes, shout out to the Dr. Wizard. My man Derek in the background helped produce an amazing, amazing tribute. Robert Brown said Graham's work on Sabry was great. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Pericles says, I used to have the Essential Luke Cage Volume 1 and 2. Loved the style. It hurt losing it. All right, my brother, go get it again. That's the thing about comics. You lose the book, you go get it. You go find it again. But I know how hard it is because I have the Essential Luke Cage and Iron Man Power Fist, and those are prices to have on your shelf. So yeah. C-Cole, other than Sabry, all this other stuff in trade, I do own the run. I mean, you can get the Luke Cage stuff in a trade. You can get the Jungle Action stuff. You can get through the Black Panther book that they just put out, which covers all early Black Panther stuff. A lot of this stuff is featured in there. So, matter of fact, for those of you hardcore Black Panther fans, for the first time, I would say this year or late last year, there are Black Panther omnibuses that you can go get now. They're gonna cost you $100 a piece, $100 plus, but there are omnibuses of Black Panther books that you can go out and buy. Years ago, you couldn't get those, but now we have those. So I'm gonna talk about Black Panther when we get to chat talk. I'm gonna start the conversation with something. So please, for those that are watching, remind me to talk about Black Panther because I had a conversation this weekend with someone, and I'm gonna share that conversation with you guys I think it's important. So, with that said, we're going to get into our spotlight. And tonight's spotlight is a queen. Okay. First, I have a question. What do Pam Grier, Angela Bassett, CC Pounder, Shirley Ralph, Cynthia Dar Robinson, Yvette Nicole Brown, and Viola Davis have in common? All of these fabulous, beautiful women have portrayed in live action or have done voice work for the queen, the gangster, the mob boss, Amanda Waller. Tonight's spotlight is Amanda Waller. Okay, her first appearance, is you're looking at it right there, DC Legends #1. And I don't think they knew when they put her in this book that she would ultimately be just that, a legend. Amanda Waller was created by John Ostrander, Lynn Wein, and John Byrne. Okay? Now, let me tell you, Amanda Waller is not squeamish. Amanda Waller is a gangster. Now, she, in some particular story arc, she's a hero, but a lot of times she is a villain. But she is a good villain. An incredible, powerful Black woman. Some would even say and argue that Amanda Waller is the most powerful person in the DC universe. And if you listen, and if you're watching or if you're reading the Wildstorm versus Waller book, I can attest to that. And he says, don't forget Vanessa Williams. I mean, listen, there's been a few. There's been a few that have played Amanda Waller. But yeah. Now, he says, I do own that book. Too bad Nell Carter never got a shot. It is what it is. But let's talk about Amanda Waller real quick. Now, Amanda Waller, let me tell you why Amanda Waller is the gangster that she is. One, she's from Cabrini Green Projects in Chicago, okay? Shout out to Cabrini Green, also home of Martha Washington that Frank Miller created. Something about Cabrini Green, y'all. Don't sleep. But she's from Cabrini Green. She was married, of course. She a lot of times we don't see her family and things. They say it's Amanda Waller. It's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated, Paul. But this is a married woman, had a Black family, the whole 9 yards. Pretty amazing. Amanda Waller is dope. I love how she stands toe to toe with Batman, low key threatening. So cool. Yeah, that's been a couple of times she's done that. There's a cover of a Suicide Squad where she just got her finger in Batman's face. He just sit there, just kind of chilling, looking at her. It's like, this woman is bold. I ain't mad at it though. But she's a great character. I tell you, she's one of DC's best characters. And you can't even really sleep on it. And the thing is, let's just be honest. Amanda Waller has been in a lot of books. Okay, she's not only a mainstay in Suicide Squad. She's been a member of Checkmate. She's been part of the Justice League of America, and she's part of Argus, which is ARGUS. Okay, her run has been pretty stellar. She doesn't get a lot of love. One, because she's probably depicted as a full-figured Black woman or whatever. But next to quote-unquote Storm, who's been in more books as far as a Black woman, I'll wait. Because if it ain't Storm, who is it? Is it Misty Knight? Maybe. I doubt it. Is it Bumblebee? I doubt it. It's not Joe Mullen. It's Amanda Waller. She's been a mainstay for DC. And let's be honest, Suicide Squad is one of those books that is a cult following, which means that there are people that's all they read. You don't read nothing else. They like Amanda Waller, or they like Suicide Squad. They don't read nothing else. Or they read nothing but DC, and Amanda Waller is just a part of their reading list. I mean, she is an amazing character. She's an amazing character. And there are different variations of her or whatever. But for the most part, the Amanda Waller in the main DC Universe. About that action, about that where she's a dope character. Y'all should go pick that up. As a matter of fact, in 2016, when they were doing the DC Rebirth, there's a book, Suicide Squad, back in 2016, where she persuades Barack Obama. I think Task Force X was the book, where she persuades him to let that Suicide Squad needs to be a thing. So, yes, Amanda Waller has got face action with the president of the United States. Yeah, y'all go get that book. Go get that book. But anyway, that's it for my spotlight, because I found her while collecting check. Yes, that's another one. That's another one. I mean, she's an amazing character. We talk about we don't have representation. We talk about we don't have black people and black women, and we got that stuff. I mean, it's a matter of us going out and hunting and mining these long boxes and finding these characters. One of the reasons why Black Comic Lords exists is because we want to put people up on our characters, our creators, how we do things. You know, and you can find all that information you can find on blackcomiclords.net. Go to our website, just check it out, man. It's over 300 books, lots of material there. It's something for everybody there. He says, what issue is that? I don't have it in front of me, Paul. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm gonna tell you what Hershey would tell you. Google it. But it is 2016. I do know that. It's DC Rebirth 2016. It's a Suicide Squad, I believe. I don't think it's Task Force X, but I think it's Suicide Squad. But it's doing the Rebirth in 2016. You'll be able to find it. You probably already got the book. Knowing you asking me. Matter of fact, you go to blackcomiclords.net, sir. This guy here. So, with that said, that's our spotlight. Shout out to the Queen, Amanda Waller, doing damage and killing a lot of people in the process to keep the world safe. Yeah. So we want to go ahead and transition, to Rich Recommends. Now, these two recommendations that I'm going to do tonight are not going to be just books that you can just go find on your shelf at your comic book store. Even though I did find this one in the wild. This book here, The Hated, written by David Walker, art by Sean Damian Hill. Somebody asked me a question a couple of weeks ago the question they asked me was, if we could get Lobo from Dale Comics in a new book, who would I get them to write the book? And I said, David Walker. And part of me saying David Walker did not have anything to do with this book particularly, but it had everything to do with knowing David Walker's style, David Walker's range. That dude is an alien. He's a black man, but that dude is an alien. That dude is an incredible writer. The guy's range is sick. This is a guy that can write Shaft. This is a guy that can write, he's writing Planet of the Apes right now. And that book, I know some of y'all don't like the ape franchises, but that book is amazing. That book is amazing. And that's David F. Walker. This is the dude that took a legacy character, Nighthawk, and made him pretty much the most gangster superhero in the Marvel history. That dude, this book. He did this book, The Hated, on a Kickstarter. And this book is pretty good. And I'll be honest, I was upset because there's not an issue 2 of this book. Clearly, there's supposed to be. And hopefully, he'll be able to put it out someday. But this is an amazing book. This is a book about life after the Civil War, black folks settling in certain cities and that kind of thing. You know, the sister that's on the cover there, she's a bounty hunter. And it details some of her shenanigans going after people, you know, she's collecting bounties. It's a pretty good book. 1 in 100 says, I need them to get back to Bitterroot. Well, you know, I mean, the dude, how I didn't bring up Bitterroot. I didn't bring that up. He's doing that too. He's part of the brains behind that. Him and Sanford Green. I mean, look, and I'm gonna be honest, guys. Bitterroot is probably, matter of fact, it's not even really a probably. Bitterroot, literally, that team, David Walker, Sanford Green, and I'm missing the last dude. That literally is the 72-10 Chicago Bulls. Them dudes don't miss. Them dudes don't miss. That Bitterroot, low key, Bitterroot is one of the better comic books that have ever been done. I can't wait for when the live action show comes out. That's gonna be incredible. But yeah, David Walker. David Walker's that guy, and this is an incredible book. So if Chuck Brown, there you go, Chuck Brown. I knew I was missing that, but that, think about it. Sanford Green, Chuck Brown, and David Walker. That team created that book that won an Eisner. They could not, that book was so good they couldn't deny it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But yo, if you can find this book in the wild, or if you know somebody that may have a copy or two, you want to get this in your hands. The Hated is no joke. It's a good book. Very, very good book. And you know, like I said, this was a Kickstarter project. I found my copy of this book in the wild. I don't know who would want to sell it or want to give it to a comic shop, but the Dollar Being Bully did his thing, and I sure snatched it up. So yeah, beautiful cover, great art, man. So yeah, Sean Damian Hill did his thing too on this book. So you want to pick this up. That's my first Rich recommends. My trade recommendation is a book. Let me be honest with you. This is called The Legend of the Matamachi. Now, I was not in the hobby when this book came out in 2015. I was living life, but I wasn't living my best life in comics. I didn't get back into comics until like 2016, late 2016, 2017. Okay. But when this book came out, and I would see covers, I would see it from time to time. I used to kind of chuckle because, you know, me and Herschel used to kind of laugh at, you know, because it was almost a trope to see a black man holding an ankh. You know what I'm saying? It was like, what is this? That kind of thing. But I did a thing, and I happened to pick up this book in the wild. That's why I love The Hunt. The Hunt is always good to me. And this is actually a jewel. The Legend of Matamachi is written by Eric Dean Seaton, and the art is by Brandon Palas. Okay. Now, this book is this is not a superhero book, even though it has elements of superheroes in it. It is more of a fantasy, occult book. It's kind of like, if I had to kind of like cross it or give it a hybrid, it's kind of like the Scorpion King meets, I don't know, Scorpion King meets Original Man. It's something to that effect. I don't know. That's probably a bad analogy. But I mean, it's got fantastical elements in it. It's a fantasy novel. Now, this book, this is the first one. There's 3 books. I do have them all. This book, each of these books, graphic novels, 200 pages. I need you to understand. This book is thick. It's not a comic book. This is a trade. This is a trade. It's over 200 pages. The art is dope. It's clean. It's written very, very well. I slept on this book. I had to go get a late pass. So, if you can find this book, whether you go to eBay or whether you find it in the wild, go ahead and pick this up. This ain't no joke. It's not some black superpower, black unity, hotep stuff. It's not that at all. It is not that at all. I was pleasantly surprised. The writer tells a very, very good story about a guy who is basically an amazing attorney, very, very cocky, very, very sure of himself, right? And he just happens to be a child of his mother basically is like a defender of the planet Earth, but she has not. She's kind of hid that side of who he is from him, and so he's really a self-centered guy, but his mom has taught him always to serve people and that kind of. And so it's literally a hero's journey, but it has fantastical elements to it, and it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Props to Eric Dean Seaton. This is an amazing book, so you definitely want to pick this up. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you, I'm just telling you. Don't take my word for it. It's not like it's a bunch of money for it. I'll say it like that. Usually when I recommend a book, I know that somebody else will like this book. I try not to miss. I know what I like, and I know what some other people may not like. And I'm telling you, you will dig this. You will dig this. I promise you, you will dig this. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. Very, very good. I don't know, this dude is in our space. He might be. But yeah, he did his thing. And like I said, there's 3 parts to this book. And matter of fact, he's got a live action 8-minute clip dedicated to this book on his website. And there's also 2 additional books that he just put out not too long ago. But this particular book, The Legend of Matamachi, came out in 2015. So my recommendation is that you go run to the eBay machine, run to Macari, run to your bookstore, find this book. It will be a welcome addition to your collection. And I know my man, like my boy Amir, I know he would love this because it's trade. You get a whole volume of story, over 200 pages. It's all color. It's all color. It's not black and white. He didn't cut no corners. He put out a quality project. So yeah. So y'all check that out. Y'all check that out. So now it's time to get into shout out to Black Comic Lord. So here's the link for some copies of The Hated Selling on eBay. Appreciate that. So yeah, go get that book, man. I mean, we got a lot. I don't know if we know or not. We have a lot of dope books out here, man. A lot of dope books. You can't say that you don't have nothing to read. There's plenty of stuff to read. Whether you want superhero stuff, whether you want horror stuff, whether you want fantastical stuff. John Jennings just finished doing a cosmic story, Afrofuturism. All of that is available. So, and on Amazon. Yeah, you can definitely find it at Matamachi on Amazon. But yeah, we're going to turn our attention now to the chat. We want to talk about things that you guys, what you're into, what you're thinking about, what's on your mind, that kind of thing. Robert Monroe says, if there's ever a Matt Baker movie, Kingsley Ben-Adir should star in it. He looks so much like Baker, it would be perfect casting. Yeah, but he's not a brother, though. That's the problem. we need a brother to play that. I like Kingsley. I do like Ben Kingsley. I do, but I want a brother. I need a brother with some curly hair, some curly hair, some Adam Clayton Powell, light skinned Adam Clayton Powell vibes. So, but I do like the thought, Robert. I do. But he says, OG says, did you miss Titan Comics Jimi Hendrix trade coming out? Well, you mentioned it. I guess I have, because I didn't listen. One of my boys sent DM me about a book that's coming out. I'm not going to talk about it right here, right now, but it's an amazing book that's coming out. I might talk about it next week. But yeah, but no, I missed that. I have like 2 or 3 Jimi Hendrix trades around here. Some I don't have everything. I do. There's some other stuff out there. to Rich King Bensley Adair is the villain. Oh, him. I'm sorry, bro. I'm thinking about, why was I thinking about the guy from Iron Man 3? I'm sorry, bro. I had a senior moment. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Shout out. Okay. Okay. Thanks, H&H. Okay. I sure was thinking about the guy that played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. Well, I cracked myself up. Anyway, yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. Shout out to you, Robert. You called it. Yeah, I like now. Now think about it. Yeah, he would be good. He would be good. He would be good. So, yeah, he would be good. Here's the link for that Jimi Hendrix joint. Okay, appreciate you. Appreciate putting that in the chat, Amir. Shout out to 1 and 100 podcast. Man, I need to get back to work. I was on my way back to Houston, and I was looking for a new episode. I rocked the old ones. I rocked the old ones because I'm a subscriber on Spotify. But I sure was looking for a new one to just be able to get at least an hour in on my drive. So he says, "Am I alone thinking Michael J. White should have been casted as Rhodey?" Pericles, stop. Michael J. White he's like the de facto. Everybody wants to play whatever role. Ever since he played Spawn, he's been up. Well, he should be Blue Marvel. He should be this character. He should be that character. But I mean, I think he could have done good as a Rhodey. I do know, looking at it, they made the right call because when who's the guy? Terrence Howard. When Terrence Howard played Rhodey in the first Iron Man movie, I don't know if that would have worked. I think they did the right thing in casting Don Cheadle versus, because you imagine Terrence Howard, Rhodey right now. I'm thinking about that exchange between him. Somebody need to do somebody need to work their magic on the internet and do that scene in Secret Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson and just cut off Don Cheadle's face and put Terrence Howard there and see how that would have worked. That might have been hilarious. I'm sorry, I'm so easily amused. So anyway, I know, bro. I know, Robert. I was tripping. I was tripping, bro. I had my Kingsleys mixed up. So anyway, Mando season 3 didn't do too hot. All Disney properties are down. Elemental, Little Mermaid, Ant-Man, etc. Well, I was okay with Mandalorian, me personally. Could have been better, maybe, but I wasn't really tripping over. I enjoyed it for what it was. And here's the thing: I enjoy Disney. This is just me. I enjoy Disney properties for being what they are. I don't really put a lot of expectation because it's Disney. Okay. Do I want the stuff to be better? Absolutely. But it's kind of like, it's Disney. It's Mickey Mouse. It's, it is what it is. Now, Ant-Man, that was definitely, that definitely tanked. I mean, bro, I didn't go see Avatar, Way in the Water. Matter of fact, that's on HBO Max. That's on Prime right now. I ain't even seen it. Don't really care to watch it because I just not interested like that. I mean, some stuff it's hit and miss. They have missed a lot. It is what it is. Now he says, reminded to get to Black Panther in the chat section. Okay. Let me start this by saying I was in Houston, and shout out to Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics, the only Black-owned comic book shop in Texas. Happens to be from my hometown, NDH. So I was down in Houston, and I was having a conversation with Byron, who is the owner of Gulf Coast Cosmos. And we were talking about Black Panther. And I was basically said something that I thought was kind of, it wasn't profound, but it was kind of like, yeah, that makes too much sense. Now, is Paul in here? Let me ask Paul in here. Is Paul in here? Is he still in here? Because Paul might want to hear this. Because this is his boy. I know how much he loves Black Panther, and I know how much the coat of Bast is. Yes, Paul is in the chat. Okay. So I was having this conversation with Byron, and we were just talking about Black Panther. And he was actually, we were talking about a story that's in the Black Panther novel. You know, there was a book that Marvel put out a couple of years ago, and I've told you guys about it, and I've shared it here on this channel about the Black Panther stories of Wakanda. A lot of different artists or writers got together and they wrote different stories about Wakanda and the Black Panther. So we were talking about that book in particular. He says, I'm here, don't trigger me. I'm not trying to, bro. You might actually agree with me on this. You might, I'm not sure. But we were talking and I was telling them that even though Spider-Man is the face of Marvel, you can really make an argument that Black Panther is the engine of Marvel. Spider-Man is the face of Marvel. When you think of Marvel Comics, you think about the Amazing Spider-Man. I get it. But when it comes to the engine of Marvel, it's Wakanda, or should I say, it is the Black Panther and Wakanda. Wakanda and the Black Panther, they're stretched, their tentacles, if I can say it like that, are in the horror side of comics. They're in the cosmic side of comics. They're in the street level of comics. They are literally everywhere. And this is what I told Byron. I said, you know what? DC knows that Batman is their moneymaker. They know that they can put out 10, 50, 11 million Batman titles. And it does not matter how many different Batman titles they put out. That book is going to sell. Those Batman books go to sale. I am a Batman guy. I probably have more Batman books than anything in my collection other than Black superhero stuff. I got a lot of black superhero stuff, but my Batman long boxes are pretty significant, okay? That's my guy. Now, I was making the argument to Byron that you literally could do that with Black Panther. There is so much lore with Black Panther. You could literally put out 2 or 3 different books just with Black Panther alone, just on T'Challa alone. You could put books out on Shuri. You could put books out on the Hatu Zarazi. You could put books out on just the country of Wakanda. You could just do that. You could literally do this, and they could basically, it would be literally a license to print money. Shout out to Dion. Dion said something last week, and he said it a couple of times. I know that they need to do a Black Panther manga. It would sell. It would sell. Just because it's Black Panther. Just because. You literally could do that. Marvel could literally, but I told Byron, I said, they don't want to give Black Panther, they don't want to give a black character that much power. I said it. And I said what I said. In the midst of all of the stuff that they put out, y'all don't want Black Panther. Y'all don't mind if he's in an Avengers book every now and then. Y'all don't mind him helping somebody out every now and then in this book or that book. But you know as well as I do that you literally have a Batman on your roster, Marvel. You can't do that with Spider-Man. You can't put out 5 and 10 different titles of Spider-Man. You can't put out 10 or 5 different titles of Venom. You can't put out 5 or different titles of Hulk. But you can do that with Black Panther because there's so much there for people to grab onto. He said that we tried that and failed because everyone disrespected the king. Come on, see, Cole. No. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. The reason why I'm not buying that is this. We're talking about dollars. We're not talking about books, and we're not talking about authors. We're talking about them making a conscious decision to put this character and make that character the face of the franchise. They have a cult following. They have a core Black Panther group. You can't tell me that these books would not sell. They do. They do. White guys like Black Panther. Don't get it twisted. They read Black Panther too. It's not something that I'm just guessing. I'm just looking at the optics of it all. Batman puts out a book, and Batman can sell literally 60,000 comics without even blinking. Without even blinking. You don't have that on Marvel's side. What character at Marvel right now that you can say equates to what Batman is doing for DC? I'll wait. I'll wait. Y'all let me know. I'll wait. You could do books with Shuri. You could do books with Dora Milaje. You could do books. You could do books on Mosey. You could do books on Bashinga. You literally could do. You got so much that you could do. It's not even funny. And here's the thing. Paul will tell you, I like Black Panther, but I'm not a part of the cult to box. I'm not a hardcore fan like that. When #1 Black Panther came out with Eve Ewing, I bought 2 books. I bought 2 books. I bought cover A and about the Scotty Young cover. That was it. But I know Paul. Paul has all 8 covers that came out. He said, I think it worked out pretty well when Coast was running Black Panther IP. He had a lot of different titles out doing the run. It's a shame they stopped. Again, I still think that it boils down to they don't want to put that much power on the character that happens to be Black, happens to be African, that Black people identify with. You could literally get, listen, you could go get Junie Ba and do a version of Black Panther that would be incredible. It would be incredible just because it's coming from someone who thinks from an African lens versus an African American lens. It would sell. You could go get David Walker. You could take your pick. I'm telling you, you literally could have 4 or 5 different Black Panther titles and it will sell. Since Marvel's focused on publishing 50 Spider-related comics every month. And again, I still don't think that he has that pull. I don't think Spider-Man has that pull. There's a lot of Spider-Man fans, but there's not a whole lot of intrigue about who Peter Parker is. When it comes to T'Challa, and it just isn't. It just isn't. Think about it. Think how simplified the Spider-Man story is. He gets bit by a radioactive spider, right? He goes and he takes his newfound powers and he wrestles and he happens to not stop the guy who happens to kill his Uncle Ben. End of story. That's it. But with the Black Panther, all of that, you're talking about Afrofuturism, Afro-mysticism, African culture, all from a different, I'm talking about there's a plethora of things that you could do. And the reason why that conversation came up was we had because in that particular book, let me see, do I have it over here? I moved it. I'm not sure where it is. But in that particular book, there's like 30, not 30, it's like about 15 to 20 different authors giving their perspectives on a Black Panther story. All of them weren't about T'Challa. Some of them were about Queen Justice Divine. Some of them were about the Heart Shade Herb. Some of them were about Bashenga. Different Black Panthers throughout the history of the lore. I'm just saying that that's a reality. And some people say might say that I'm, that wouldn't happen. He says we had Black Panther, World of Wakanda, Killmonger, Rise of Black Panther, and the Crew. Yeah. He says all those books were one of the worst sellers at Marvel. However, all those trades sold very well. And in some cases, that was before the movie came out. Well, see, Carl, I think that's the thing about trade. That's the reason why trades do better than floppies. That's just the reality of comic book buying. That's the reason why manga is killing comics, because you got a whole volume of story. You get more story, you get more content. So again, if those stories didn't sell, it's not because they didn't have, like a 10100 podcast is saying, it's not like they weren't good. They were good. I maintain that Coates' Black Panther and the Crew and his Nation Under Our Feet was some of the best Black Panther stories ever written. Was it the best? No. We can debate that between Priest and Don McGregor's Jungle Action stuff. Now, Paul says, when you let Black Panther take into its logical conclusion, you get BP 24 and 25 in the Colts run history. Yeah, I didn't like it. Paul knows I did not like that run. That run ran me hot. But yes, those books, issues 24 and 25 of that run, are historic. There's no getting around that. And so I have to give Coates his propers as far as that goes. But that's kind of how I felt about it. Tamiko says, Peter Parker only became interesting once Black and people of color shared his origins. I never picked up a Spider-Man book until Spider-Man 2099 and Miles Morales. Well, my favorite Spider-Man story, Spider-Man's not even in it. Peter Parker's not even in it. But my favorite Spider-Man story, Spider-Man 35, I think it is he's not even in the book. It's Peter Parker, Spider-Man, but he's not even in the book. And it's a story about a young kid in the projects. Grew up in the hood. My all-time favorite Spider-Man story. But again, I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo anything that they're doing in regards to Peter Parker. I just think that they got money that they can make, and they're not making it. Now, Bison says, do we as a fandom let Marvel know a larger role is needed? I think there are ways to do that. I would say that it's about who's in the room. I think at the end of the day, it's about who's in the room. Me and Paul have gone back and forth about who's in the room or who's not in the room, talking about the editor's room. Our stories matter when we're in the room. Right now, I'm just a dude running my mouth talking to y'all. That's all I am. I mean, I'm saying I don't have no range like that. But if I know somebody that's in the room, I can have a conversation, or I can tweet that person, or I can talk to that person and say, hey, and Paul does it. Paul does it through Twitter, in that he makes suggestions or whatever. And it's funny because I think they listen to Paul. They don't listen to me. I'm not on Twitter. Twitter's the devil. I don't fool with Twitter like that. But there have been things that Paul has said that for whatever reason we may get a month or two down the line, because he talked about Bishop having his own book or whatever. And then a few months later here, we got Bishop War College, which by the way kind of fell off. And that's a story for another day. But anyway, so that's all I want to say about Black Panther. Let's get to the regular talk. It says, I saw Elemental with my daughter a couple weeks ago. The marketing department did that movie a disservice. It was really good. You know what's weird? My daughter told me the same thing. She went to go see it. My daughter grew up watching Disney movies. You know, the first movie I took my daughter to see as a child was The Lion King. So she loves Disney from that perspective. And so we've always gone to see Disney movies. Even when she became an adult, that was something that we did as a daddy-daughter date together. We would go see a Disney movie, whether we would go see the Goofy movie, whether we would go see Up, or whatever it was that Disney were putting out at the time, we would literally go see it, and because that was her fandom. Seco says, for your information, Robert, the folks who do the marketing are not the same folks who do the films about 90% of the time. Generally, those folks don't see the final product. Possibly. To me, I don't. Here's the thing. The movies for me are always frosting. I don't depend on the movies. I know a lot of us like the MCU stuff and they like to talk about it and like to speculate and like to, I'm a comic head. And so I just want my comics to be right. Shout out to the idiot. Matter of fact, shout out to the idiot over at Disney that told the dude that's doing the secret invasion show to not read the source material. I was shocked when they admitted that they told him don't read the source material. I was like, really? Y'all let that slip? Y'all let that out there? That people are not reading the source material? That people at Disney are telling them to not read what the comic heads are reading? Now I know why some of the stuff is jacked up the way it is. Because they don't want the people to make the connection to the story. Because when you read a story, you can do one or two things with it. You can either reject it or you can connect to it and you can be invested in it. They don't want you to be invested in it. The Cut Through Comics says, I like the Marvel Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. I like the feeling that Fury is doing this by himself, not having to help with the Avengers. Yeah. Will the Avengers show up? I don't know. Probably not, but it would be cool to see. Thing is, I don't know when they back stuff up so far. Don't know tell them when we're gonna get another Avenger movie, but I guess in 2025. Tamika said that annoys me so much. Why do these shows based on comics and not read the source material? That's the thing to me that's kind of heartbreaking. I mean, because you're a fan and you grew up reading these stories, and the stories that they're doing, they're not new stories. These are old stories. These are stories that have been out for years. These are stories that people, grew up reading and watching. I mean, listening to and pouring over their pages and, writing the editors about that kind of stuff. That's how old these stories are. These stories are not new. These stories are old. And so for them to say, okay, don't even read the source material. I'm like, really? Well, how does he know what to do and what not to do? I guess they figure it out. That's Marvel for you. That's Marvel for you. What else y'all got? What else y'all want to talk about? I'm done with the Black Panther stuff. But I just had that conversation with Byron, and I just think that that's interesting that they could literally blow that character up bigger than what it is because they got the fan base for it. It's not like they don't have a fan base. It would be different if it was just a new character. I'm not asking you to print 20 different Miles Morales books, even though that seems like that's what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? They toying that with Miles in a way. But that's just my thoughts on Black Panther. Dwayne McDuffie, Seco says, Dwayne McDuffie once said that there's some stuff in comics that cannot be used in movies. So some stuff gets left out. Now that I understand. Some stuff does not translate. I get that. Which is, why I like live action, but I'm more of an animation kind of guy. And some stuff, doesn't make sense to do live action. I get it. But, I don't necessarily think that that's been the case with Marvel and what they've been doing. I think they have just really been screwing the pooch personally. V says Disney might have requested or demanded changes. Possibly. Possibly. Now, Bison says genres are cyclical. Westerns, black exploitation, heist films, comic book film reach saturation, and the movie buying plug is paying with their feet. I don't know about that. Again, for me, I'm a comic head. I read comics. And what I'm getting at is comic heads never get comic fatigue. We don't. I put up a post in our Facebook group, and I was like, he who has the most comics wants more comics. As comic heads, we don't get fatigue. It's not like I'm just tired of reading these books. I'm just tired of buying these books. I'm just tired of going in these long boxes. It's like the song by Tila, I'm tired of balling. We don't have that struggle. But if you are a casual and this is kind of like how you participate in the fandom, I can see why you might get fatigued. But if you're a comic head, you in long boxes, you in back issues, you're collecting books. Matter of fact, let's just be honest. You're buying books that you've bought over and over. All of us that are comic heads see a book that we like, and it doesn't matter if we got 10 copies of that book. If we find that book in the wild, we're going to buy that book. But when it comes to things like television, when it comes to things like animation, can some fatigue set in? Yeah, if you're tired of watching certain things or whatever. But for a comic head, that's not the case. Not the case at all. Sierra says, have you read the Tales of a Sunday yet? No, I have not. I haven't read that yet. King Webb says, why hasn't Milestone haven't been used in live action? Well, King Webb, I would just simply tell you this, that, the reason why that has not happened is because, one, DC is not 100% behind it. Before they brought James Gunn in, they gutted a lot of stuff that was on the agenda for them to do a live action show with Static in particular, a live action movie. That got scrapped. The Milestone animation stuff got scrapped. They're literally back to square one. And, the thing that they got going on now is just the comics. I don't know if we're going to see live action in the next 5 years. We may, but you need to tweet Reginald Hutland and find out what's going on. But when the stuff happened at DC where they kind of revamped everything and then they gave James Gunn the keys to the Lamborghini, all that stuff got washed. So don't know. Says Cutthroat Axe, he said, would you like to see DC do a women version of Green Lantern to bring in more female readers? I mean, I like Joanne Mullen. I like Jessica Cruz. I mean, yeah, I'd be good. I'd be good with that. I'd be good with a Joe Mullen, a Far Sector movie. I think that would be pretty fire, to be honest. I mean, those characters have good stories behind it. It would be different if they just was kind of like, we're just gonna create this new female character. These characters have been around for a minute. They have good story arcs. They have good story behind them. You could definitely do something special with those. Absolutely, I'll be on board for that for sure. Especially with Joe Mullen. I'm looking for another. To be honest, I'm looking for another Far Sector run or another Joe Mullen run. You know what I'm saying? I know we're gonna get a Green Lantern John Stewart book here in a minute, but I would like to see N.K. Jemisin get another shot of Far Sector. That would be cool. So we got, let's see. Could Thunder and Lightning work in their own title? They could. I mean, they particularly Thunder has been in the Outsiders book. They probably could, but I'm gonna be honest, Pericles. I don't want to see that. I want to see Black Lightning with a title. Give me Black Lightning. That's my guy. Give me Black Lightning. If you're going to give us a Thunder and Lightning run, that's fine or whatever. But I need to see Jefferson Pierce. It's been over 5 years, DC. I need my man's in a title. I need that stat. And you don't have to call Tony to do it. You can get somebody else to write it. I don't know if Tony wants to do it, but and let's just keep it a stack. That last season of Black Lightning on TV, that really was Thunder and Lightning. That was not Black Lightning. Black Lightning was walking around halfway drunk, didn't want to be a superhero no more. That's kind of how that was. He said, do they exist in the current universe? I believe so. They're just not being used. At the end of the day, I'm saying, they put characters on the shelf. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. I mean, I'm saying, it's just, but Thunder was in the Outsiders book for a while. That run ran for a little bit. She was working with her father in the Outsiders book. Not Batman in the Outsiders, but just the Outsiders. Paul says Marvel can make any character they want a superstar with proper promotion. They have to choose to do so. I don't think they could make Triathlon a superstar, bro. Respectfully. I don't think there's a lot of characters they could not. I don't care what they do, they couldn't make them superstars. They couldn't make Rage a superstar. I don't think they can make Triathlon a superstar. Shout out to Herschel. They couldn't make Medium Man a superstar. There's some characters they could they wouldn't be able to do that, bro. Respectfully. Let's see. What you got? Love to see Icon. I would too, bro. 1 in 100 Pod says, let me ask you a question. What do you think if the big two published trades and graphic novels only? Would it help sales? Yes, it would. The problem would be is creating enough buzz. Now, here's the thing. The comic shops would have to adjust. And you have to have a steady flow of material, kind of like with floppies. The Wednesday Warrior thing would kind of be out because, people look forward to going to the shop on Tuesdays and Wednesdays to pick up these floppies. I think trades fade better. I mean, the thing about Marvel and DC, they hope to put out a book with the hopes of turning that book into a trade. If you go to, say, a bookstore like Barnes & Noble sell a lot of trades. Now, I don't stand in a bookstore and watch people grab graphic novels all day. But Barnes & Noble's bookstore bookshelves for graphic novels and trades and manga is huge. And so they're not going to put something in their bookstores that's not going to sell, if that makes any sense. That's the point. Then the LCS would become bookstores. Yes, you wouldn't be going in long boxes. You would be going on bookshelves, pretty much. H&A said, I feel that would kill comic shops. It probably would. They would have far less traffic and fewer people in shops, meaning less buzz and word of mouth. Well, let me tell you something, Derek. That's happening right now. But you know what comic shops are doing? Comic shops are selling manga. Comic shops are selling games. Comic shops are, I mean, half of a comic shop, most of the comic shops I go to, they have a section where people come in and they sit and they play board games all day. That's how they're paying their bills. They're not paying their bills through comics. Comics are not selling like that no more. That's why they're toying with digital and that kind of thing. In that Blade article, it talks about how I didn't even know this, but there was a digital-only Blade run. And, it's like, I didn't know that. I wasn't even aware of that. But there's material and content that you can get. Matter of fact, I just picked up a Black Panther Long Live the King run which was a digital only thing, and they put it in print that was written by Indy Okafor. And positive, you wouldn't need an LCS if they were all trade paper. If all there was trade paper. Listen, it's listen, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That's coming. It's a slow train, but it's coming. And if the comic book shops are not aware that it's coming, that's just on them. That's just the way the industry is going. The day of the floppy is limited. It just is. Is it right? Probably not, but that's kind of the way it is. Nobody's flying to these shops like that to get books like that. It's just not happening. It used to happen like that, not no more. There are literally 100 titles a week that come out now, whether between Marvel and DC and Independence. Everybody's not in the shop like that. Now, my man has up the thing. He says, support your favorite comic book series by pre-ordering before the final cutoff date. Subscribe, get you a pull list. You should. But that's a conscious decision that every consumer has to make. And you know, again, it's not perfect, you know what I'm saying? But that's the industry. The industry is backwards. You would think that the sale that you would get, that you pick up a comic book shop, I mean, you go to a comic book shop, you pick up a book off the shelf, you buy the book, you got the book in your long box, and you think that you helped the creator, but you haven't. That's ridiculous. That's just not, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It says, Amir says, I go to my shop and new books are in the way in the back, merch is in the front, manga, 3 shelves. Comic books just not like that no more. I mean, I hate it like that. I'm a comic head. I got literally 50, 60 long boxes full of books. But that's not the model no more. I mean, it's going to be trades. I want the shops to survive and I want them to flourish, but they're going to have to pivot. And let's just be honest, a lot of these guys are not even buying the books that you and I want. When I went to Houston, a couple of the books that I bought from Onyx Comics and Wingless Comics, these are Black-owned book companies, I couldn't find those books in Dallas. I had to go to the only Black-owned comic book shop in Texas to get it. And it's not like I could pre-order it because it's like these books, these independent companies some of them don't, they're not in the database like that. They're not in previews. You got to find out through whether it, you know somebody that's putting the book out or Kickstarter or whatever. The industry is a mess. People don't really want to talk about it, but that's kind of how it is. That's kind of how it is. Now, I like what Tamiko says. She says most LCS have to sell something in the shops because the comics have become their loss leaders. Yes. It's been the price of doing business. We can demand our books all the day long, but we're just not buying them like that. We're just not. We are in our community, we have this saying that we are a niche within a niche within a niche. And because we are a niche within a niche within a niche, we're not going to have the big giant sales like a Batman or like this particular character. Very small. And it almost doesn't quote unquote rate or fall on people's radars that we're out here, that they're Black comic heads don't buy books. I've done the research. We're 14% of the population, and we reflect that in comic book buying. 14% of comic book sales come from Black people. We buy the books. Do we always buy the books like we're supposed to buy the books? No, which is why we at Black Comic Lords tell you to pre-order your books. We consciously tell people to do that because we know those are the sales that help creators get their books not only greenlit, but help extend the life of those books. How many do y'all know that the Sam Wilson Symbol of Truth book just ended? Did y'all know that? They just finished that run. That run is over. That run is over. They snuck that in on everybody. Now they put out Captain America, Cold War. They put out a little bit of other book that they were doing, and they just quietly ended that run. So the Sam Wilson run is over. You know, it was a great issue, but it's over. And they could have kept it going. They could have kept it going, but it's over. Is it over because nobody bought the book? Is it over because they had no more story to tell? I doubt it. But I mean, for it to be canceled like that in 14 issues, or to be done like that after 14 issues, a main character. That's who's gonna be in Civil War, though. I mean, not Civil War. The Captain America movie. They changed the title of it. I can't remember what they changed the name of the title to, but it's not New World Order anymore. See, because I expected it to end, but it was expecting that to happen at issue 25 like last time. Exactly. That part. That part. Yeah, 14 issues. 14 issues. Brave World, Brave New World. Yeah, that's what they did, y'all. Now, here's the thing. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know why I'm upset about that? I'm not even a Sam Wilson guy. You know why I'm upset? That literally is the history of Sam Wilson as Captain America. Why can't we just get a Falcon run? Let him be who he was created to be. Paul brings it up. And how many people pre-ordered the book, though? Good question, Paul. Good question. I like to think that the 26 or 30 people that's in here did. But this keeps happening. This keeps happening. And that's the thing that's hurtful to what we do at Black Comic Lords. Because it's like we do our best to try to give this information out. And then we get hit with cancels like this. And it's like, really? That happened? And they did it quietly. They did it quietly. They just kind of put it out there. See, because nobody wants to buy it aside from me. I don't know, bro. I mean, it is what it is. That's all I can say. So we had one and we let them cancel Rodney Barnes. Well, I don't know if Sam Wilson is going to go back to being Falcon. Because even the way they ended this particular run, Joaquin Torres is Falcon. And he's still Captain America. He's just Captain America Sam Wilson. So now Mir says 14% ain't enough to support our books. Well, I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest with Mir. I don't know what we can't make grown people go to this comic shop and, hey man, buy this book. We can't we can't do that. Everybody has a choice to buy their books and work in their fandom the way they see fit. That's the catch-22 to all of this. And so I mean, it just, but I guess for me, we can't be surprised when stuff like this happens. That's all I'm saying. We really can't be surprised that it happens. Seco says he's going to stay Captain America because of that movie. Marvel still need material with him dressed as Captain America. Paul says he will be Cap after the movie comes out. He'll be Falcon again after the Captain America movie comes out. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm gonna call him Black Falcon. Is I never realized how many black comic book creators until I started making mine. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few. And what separates, I think, the cream from the crop will be the ones that, one, that will stick at it, and two, those who have original ideas, and those who are willing to be their own cheerleader until people catch up. I think that's the biggest thing too when it comes to this kind of content. Trying to be different, That's why I like a cat like David Walker. You can't pencil him in as he writes one thing or he writes one way. He can write, he can write horror. He's like Rodney Barnes. He can do superhero stuff. He can do science fiction stuff. He can do horror stuff. He can do, what I'm saying? Being able to do different things is key. It's like, if I could use a football analogy, people that get to the NFL, they don't always get into the position or get to start or get to play just because they got talent. Because the talent is pretty much the same. But what separates the next guy or being able to get in the game and be able to play is those who are willing to play special teams, that are willing to do the little things. And so when they get the opportunity, they shine, just because a lot of people not gonna say not willing, a lot of people just don't want to do the little things. This is a labor of love, and it can be heartbreaking at times. Tamika, you funny. Tamika said, put some respect on Sam Wilson's name. I'm gonna call him Black Falcon. I'm sorry. I like Sam. I do. I like Sammy. Sammy just. Oh my gosh, man! I tell you, I love this fandom, but boy, it could be heartbreaking at times. Yeah, Mr. Mario Van Bryce says Steve's run only went 13 issues. Yeah, Steve, that might be the case, but he still have Captain America's. Was that Cold War? He still got. There's going to be a new Captain America run. We know that. We can't say that there's going to be another Captain America, Sam Wilson. That's the difference. Now, a lot of people, I guess, are not. A lot of people haven't been happy with Captain America since Ta-Nehisi Coates did. A lot of people hated Coates. A lot of people hated Coates' Black Panther run. No, a lot of people hated his Captain America run. Dude had death threats and all kind of things because he didn't do the Captain America fans a favor in his run. So, yeah, Cap Falcon. He says BCL Black Comic Feminist does not agree. Okay, Tamiko. Cap Falcon. Yeah, I mean, look, we could joke about this and we play with this all the time because, again, I'm of the opinion, I might be the minority in this. I did not want Sam Wilson to be Captain America. Sam Wilson had a mantle called Falcon. He had his red wing, he had his buddy, he had his own story, he had his own identity. He was Cap's partner, not sidekick. I have to make that distinction too. He was a partner, not a sidekick. That was it. He was good where he was. But the minute they put the stars and stripes on old boy, okay, all right, I'm gonna call him Black Falcon. King Williams says, hit the like button, people. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Now, Amir says, I think we're going to see Falcon sooner than y'all think. Captain America 750 got tape things going on. Yeah. I mean, that's that's a big legacy book, that's coming out. They tried to prop that up at the end of that issue. So yeah. But I don't, man. It's kind of like, what did we do all of that for then? For him to go back to Falcon? Because that's the thing. I don't necessarily want him to go back to Falcon. Because if he goes back to Falcon, what's his story then? Is he still going to be in Captain America's shadow? Is he going to get his own identity? Is he? Because that's the thing. We have this discussion about whether he's a sidekick or whether he was a partner or whatever. What does he go? What does he go back? Does he go back? In fact, is it going back to Falcon? That's the question. Let me ask y'all that question. Is Sam Wilson going back to Falcon a step back or a step forward? I'm just asking. So how about make the costume red, white, and blue and call him Eagle? Hell no. No. No, Paul. No, Paul. No, Paul. Call him Eagle. Oh, yeah. Captain Eagle. No. How you go from a falcon to being an eagle? No. Yeah, it's a step back because they've done it before. Yes. So anyway, now here comes C. Cole with the history. Boy, I like C. Cole. C. Cole's a comic head. He says John Paul and Dick Grayson went back to being Azrael and Nightwing after being back. Okay, C. Cole, I get that. I understand that. But here's the difference. They didn't have significant runs being Batman. They were Batman for a hot minute. It's not like we got a big run of Batman, particularly Dick Grayson as Batman. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you got a lengthy run where, okay, he had the mantle here. We don't have that. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't even think we have. You literally got more Jace Fox Batman than you have Dick Grayson Batman. Respectfully, I'm just saying. But I get the point that you're making, though. I do get that point. And I mean, he could go back. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's like, come on, bro. If you've been in charge and all of a sudden you get your old job back, it's like, we doing that? Do we really want to do that? I'm just saying. Tamiko says Sam doesn't need to stop back being Falcon when we have a new Falcon. Let him stay Captain America and Steve Rogers go by his name. I mean, whatever works. Whatever y'all do, just make sure you pre-order. Can we agree to do that? So no one literally is checking for Jakeem as Falcon, though. I like Torres. Come on, bro. Don't be like that. I like Torres. Torres is cool. I hope he's in the new movie too. I'm guessing he's going to be in the movie. But yeah. So books of the week. Now shout out to the Storm issue 2. Storm issue 2 was better. It was better than the first one. Thank God. Thank God. Because if it was gonna be terrible like that first book, I was gonna let it go. I was gonna like, you know what? Gotta go. I was not gonna do that. But issue 2 was better than issue 1. So thank goodness for that. Hope it gets better than that. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like we have an intrigue story. Funny thing is, it's not even it's not even a superhero story. It's a love story. What y'all think about Storm's new book? I'm gonna ask Paul. Paul, what is your opinion of the Hadari Yao and her vanilla lover, who has no superpowers? What's your thoughts, my brother, on Storm's new boo thing? Because Storm got eyes for that dude. Storm got eyes for that dude. But I do know one thing. If you've read issue 2, you do know that Logan still has a thing for Storm as well. So there's that. Paul, she's got. Don't hit me with the ... my brother. Yeah, tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel. He said, "Oh, what about Hal Jordan? He had a run as Spectre, then went back to being." I mean, you could do that, bro. I'm not saying that he can't do it. I'm not. Don't misunderstand me, C. Cole. I'm good with it if he does that. I really really am. I'm not tripping if he don't. I'm just saying that the way he has been put out there like that, to have 2 runs and to have both runs canceled. Now I'm not sure if this is a cancellation or they just ended the story. Let me just go on record to say that. But I just find it funny that they would end this run at 14 issues when the last run before that went 25. Okay, so I have no problem with them wanting to do that, but it is kind of suspicious. And so again, if you bring him back to Falcon, my question is not whether or not he can be Falcon, because I know he can, but what do you do with him? Do you give him his own run? Do you stick him on a team where he's going to be relegated to just being a part of a team, or do you give him his own identity and give him his real shine? Because you really hadn't did that, or you quote unquote tried to do that as Captain America, and people just weren't checking for that. I should say the mainstream wasn't. So that's just my thoughts. Jay Bruce says Sam being Captain America is greater. Seeing him take that mantle, knowing that he has no superpowers, superhuman strength, or agility. Spoken like a real Captain America Sam Wilson fan. Because you're right. I just know that what do you do with the guy if he goes back? I'm not saying he can't go back. I just don't think that they should have made the change in the first place. Now that we're here, let's pivot, let's adjust or whatever, right? But at the same time, I just wish they didn't do my man like that. That's all I'm saying. Now, Buddha Shin Lane says, what's the normal run of an actual comic book series? Good question. Good question. The answer to that is usually we don't know. Now, a story arc kind of flows between 4 to 6 issues. You think about it like this. With Sam Wilson, Symbol of Truth, you got 14 issues. In theory, that's 2 volumes or 2.5 volumes. Okay? 3 if you're making it 4 issues for the story arc. But most story arcs kind of flow between 4 to 6 issues. So in theory, they really would have, 2 trades for that. With it being 14 issues, they may put it all together in one book. Instead of charging you $14.99, charge you $29.99 for all 14 issues. I just know story arcs. I can't say what the actual normal run of comics is. If you're following the model that DC is doing generally 6 issues. 6 issues, and they're done as far as the story is concerned. They will go farther if they think that the book has merit, if that makes any sense. But for the most part, it's 6 issues for a story arc. Do we want Marvel? Well, I tell you, Paul, you something else. Do you want Marvel to be the Jim Crow of comics with ongoing concurrent black versions of legacy characters? Oh my God, this guy here, man. Okay. No, I don't want them to be the Jim Crow of comics. And no, I don't want them to just focus on legacy characters. But the question becomes, what characters will they focus on? We've screamed and yelled for a blue Marvel run. That has not yet happened. I don't think that's going to happen. They're not letting us fully know whether or not Adam Brashear is going to be in the Marvels movie. Usually, when characters show up in movies or whatever, they will put out a miniseries or a comic book to get people intrigued with that. But they hadn't done that. The only thing that they've done is given us a Monica Rambeau Photon run. They just killed Miss Marvel, and I think they just ended a Captain Marvel run. Now you got a Marvel's movie getting ready to come out. Look what they've done with that. They've made a mess of that. Their literal plan of what they used to do has kind of, fallen by the wayside. Generally, what they would do is they would put out a book, and then the movie would come out, or they would introduce a new book when the movie comes out. They hadn't done that. They literally are like, I don't know what the editors at Marvel are doing and what the editors at the MC. It's clear to me they're not talking to each other at this point. So that's that. Captain Marvel getting a new run before the movie. Okay. Well, I mean, again, is she the star of the movie though? That's the question. Is she the star? I know Paul likes to think it's going to be Monica Rambeau. We can only hope, but we'll see. Let's see what else we got. Make Sam Wilson a super soldier and call him Captain Wilson like Captain Carter. I like that actually. Mr. Mario Van Bryson, I like that. That would be kind of cool. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that at all. Anyway, maybe Sam Wilson can get a new identity. I doubt it. I doubt it. They're just not doing that no more. Oh, matter of fact, shout out to all of you that went out and got this book here. My man, Amir did a short, I think, on his Instagram about this book here, Creed. And Creed 3, the what's it called? The Next Round. Good story. Good story. Good story. Good story. Good story. Good story. Y'all go pick that up. Michael B. Jordan, that dude is legit. That dude is legit. G-Town, what's happening? Says, yes, Goodreads got 3 covers. Yeah. Yep. So read some man, can we talk briefly before I get out of here about this one here? Okay, Heralds of Apocalypse. Now, I don't know what to make of this book. I see my man's Apocalypse. He gets into it with his lady. She stabs him. She stabs him. Then they get to kind of like reminisce and talk about their children who are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And I guess being who they are and being who Genesis and Apocalypse is, it makes sense. And so at the end of the issue, he's like, I can't rock with you. You can't rock with me. All right, boo, I'll see you later. I put the book down and I was like, that's twisted, but I like it. They say first black mutant family at Marvel, hence the drama. Real Housewives of Krakoa. Shout out to Genesis. Genesis about that life, man. Matter of fact, if y'all really want to read some more of Genesis, go pick up X-Men Red. X-Men Red, I think issue 12, I think it is. Yep. But yeah, Seacoast, I think issue Creed 2 is FOC this weekend. Appreciate that, Seacoast. So y'all know what y'all need to do. Order before the final cutoff date. So a Tyler Perry script final fix. You ain't right, bro. No, we don't need time. We just need the studio. We don't need Tyler Perry. Last thing I need to do is see Madea trying to help Blue Marvel, trying to help Black Panther, beat somebody up or something. We don't need that in our life. We don't need that. But another book that you might want to cop is this one here. I guess I need to start reading more X-Men. Go get Exile. Wesley Snipes' Exile is solid. This is a solid book. Yes, this is issue 5. Wesley got a pretty dope story. I don't know how long it's gonna go, but it's been pretty solid. I've enjoyed Exile. It's definitely solid. Here's a book that Kevin Greavy is doing a lot of different things, and this dude is all over the place. Guy's a playwright. He got his own comic book imprint. He does a lot of different stuff, and so one of the things he's done is he's working on a comic book adaptation of a video game. This is called Winter Ember, issue 2. This is issue 2. And issue 1 was okay. I didn't too much care for it, but it got better with issue 2. Issue 2 is a lot better than the first issue. But this is a book that he's doing, an independent title called Winter Ember. And it's a video game. So Austin says, how do you like the Eve Ewing Black Panther run so far? Well, it's only been one issue, but I loved it. I loved the first issue. First issue was dope. I think she was able to pivot. And like I said in the last live, she took John Ridley's breadcrumbs and she made bread pudding. So yeah, I'm all here for it. Like the introduction of Bisa. I think she's going to be the protagonist in the story, early on. So we'll get to see her in issue 2. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the first issue. So no doubt. So I'm saying again, X-Men has not been the best franchise for Marvel of late. They just haven't. It just hasn't. The Krakoa Iraqi stuff is kind of long in the tooth now. I want X-Men to go back to being scared of human beings and sentinels. This whole thing about this planet, they on Mars, it's okay, but it's not the X-Men that I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? And of course, being an old head, I understand things must happen. Jonathan Hickman did his thing on it for a while, then he left. But we got this Jeff, and I don't know how long they can keep it up. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how long they can keep up with this Iraqi Krakoa type deal. Because they have not, the only challenge that the X-Men have had of late is other mutants. It hasn't been the humans or whatever. They've kind of like the humans are not even a factor these days. I mean, you need the only humans we get to see in the last few years or so has been the humans that were in X. And that was the X-Men, Avengers, Eternals run, and that was a hot mess. But it did what it did. Any advice to someone trying to get into comic book business? It depends on you say the comic book business. The question is, are you trying to be a comic book creator, or are you trying to be someone that kind of just works in the business? We had an interview with Dr. John Jennings, and he talked about his experience in working for Marvel when it came to Ghostlight, and it was a work for hire project, which means that Marvel owns the rights to Ghostlight. He can't take Ghostlight. Let's say if he has an idea for a story that he wants to write for Ghostlight, and he can't. He has to get Marvel's permission because Marvel owns the character. So one of the advices that I give, depending on what it is that you want to do, if you want to be a creator, is that you own your IP. You don't surrender it, what I'm saying, for a check or for an idea that, okay, one day my creation might be in a movie, that kind of thing. Now, if you really want to do it, then I would suggest that you work on your craft, whether it's writing or art, and try to put it before as many people as you can. Whether that's on social media, whether you go into cons, ask real creators, those people that are doing it, ask them for advice. I'm nobody to ask advice from, but what I would tell you is simply stalk your favorite creators online or whatever, and try to get an audience with them, whether through a direct message or a DM. I mean, not a DM, but whether you can meet them at a con or just, I think that also count the cost, because this is a pricey endeavor. I don't know page rates and that kind of thing. There are comic book creator pages on Facebook that you can go and talk to and interact with people that are actually doing the work. So that's one thing that you could do. But most of all, I would say if you really have a love and a passion for it, just start where you are and try to create something new. And what I mean by new is, don't try to create your version of the X-Men. Try to create your version of whatever it is you think is a dope character. There are lots of different stories you can tell. And as you tell your story, recognize that at the end of the day, it's about connecting people with your characters, making sure that your characters are someone that are intriguing, someone that I'm worth investing in. Like if you're telling me a story about, I don't know, a character named Jack. Do I like Jack? Do I care about Jack? Do I want Jack to fail, or do I want Jack to succeed? Is Jack a hero? Is he a villain? What's up with Jack? If I don't have those questions in my head reading your story, then I'm not going to connect to that character. So whatever it is that you do, make sure that you do, deep dives as for story development. A lot of the things that you have to do in terms of before you tell your story is interviewing your characters. That means that, okay, let's say for example, I'm just using Jack as a character. You sitting down and having a conversation. This is from an artist standpoint, having a conversation with Jack. Who is Jack? Where's Jack from? What's the world that Jack is in? Your world building, those kind of things. It's not as simple as creating a panel and then putting a character in it, some buildings behind it, and you're trying to tell a story. That's not the end of the story. That's really the beginning of the story. It's being able to communicate, without using a lot of words. Some comic heads don't like they don't like books that are wordy. So, and a lot of times less is more. So it's really just about honing your craft and, getting advice from people that's doing it. You know what I'm saying? And don't be afraid to take criticism. He says, I have my own comic book and I have in my artist, I write the stories. Yeah, okay. That's what's up. So just keep working at it, man. I mean, it's one of those things where, if you really believe in what it is that you're doing and you have the passion for it, it's not a matter of how, but a matter of when. You get that book before the right people, it can do something, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be your biggest fan. And you have to think that your stuff is John Blaze. And you also have to be willing to listen, put your ego aside, and really be able to take, some criticism to take your book to the next level. Because I think that a lot of, because we're talking about art, people can be sensitive about it. And the thing that you have to do is you have to develop some thick skin. So, yeah. And Paul, what he just said is some of the most talented writers in the comic books still have day jobs. Helps you not to have to be forced to compromise your craft. Absolutely. Hashtag comics broke me. There was a hashtag that went around on social media, Twitter in particular, where people were talking about how they got into the comic book business and how comics broke them and how they were so vested in what it is that they were doing that they put their families, their own health at risk for this thing. And so it has to be a passion project. But as they said, don't quit your day job. Have multiple streams of income so you can stay afloat, because there are lots and lots of comic book creators out here and there's nothing new under the sun. And so you're competing against that, but your determination has to outrun your frustration, because you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get, told no. You're going to get criticism, fair or unfair. That's just kind of how the business goes. But if you really believe in what you're doing, what the story you're trying to tell, and it's a new story, and it's a story not, watered down with I would say agendas. I tell people you can have your agenda, but your agenda has to be in the background. Your agenda has to be like that building that's behind everything. We'll see the building, we'll see the agenda, but you want people to focus on the person that's in front. So, that's how they go. Now, Austin has a question. He says, Rich, who are some of the African-American Marvel characters you think need their just due? Mine is Black Goliath. I like Black Goliath, and yeah, he's definitely one. Honestly, not a hero. Well, not a hero, a villain. I like Moses Magnum. I would like to see Moses Magnum get a real shot. Because Moses Magnum is kind of like, he's kind of like a protagonist. I would, and let me ask you, Paul, let me ask you this, because I got a lot of Black Panther books, but why isn't Moses Magnum and Black Panther, why aren't they not rivals? They've been in books together, but why aren't they rivals? Why isn't Moses Magnum a Black Panther villain? Because I think Moses Magnum is a dope villain. He's an African. He's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's one of the better ones. I know people like to talk about Tombstone, but people can't make up their mind whether or not they want to make Tombstone black. he is an albino, but they give him European features. It's kind of bothersome sometimes. But I like Moses Magnum. I want to see Michael Collins Deathlock. I would like to see Michael Collins Deathlock. Michael Collins Deathlock has not been used since Dwayne McDuffie. Shout out to the GOAT. I would like to see him. get some shine. As far as other characters, this is gonna make Herschel laugh. I really wouldn't mind seeing a Media Man book. I really wouldn't, because they put the Golden Lords in a comic book, so Media Man is canon. So they literally could take that character and use it if they really wanted to. But now I don't know how the situation is in terms of Media Man as a creation, because that is a Robert Townsend creation. And maybe one of the reasons why we have not seen Media Man is because Robert Townsend still owns rights to Media. It's not like he did that book in a work for hire situation. He had Media Man before Marvel was messing with it. So I don't know if they own Media Man. I know the Young Lords, the Golden Lords. Herschel put this out in a post not too long ago. They used the Golden Lords in a comic book not too long ago. But as far as Media Man, I'm not sure. Herschel says Michael Collins is 100% human again. Yeah, that'll happen. Says Moses don't have the mental acumen to hang at T'Challa's level. Give me a break, bro. Did you really say that after giving the show $2, bro? Somebody, Herschel, get your mans, man. Get your mans. You don't have the mental acumen. Come on, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that, Paul. Let's see.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Brian Hill interview would be dope. Blade and Black Panther doing a book. We've seen that in Black Panther. Shout out to Reginald Hudlin. Matter of fact, he had Black Panther. I mean, he had Black Panther, Brother Voodoo, Luke Cage, and Blade in the same book. And we haven't had nothing like that since. And it's a doggone shame. It really is. Yeah. I would be here for that. I would be here for a Black Panther Blade super team up book. Yeah. T'Challa and Moses was all in comic book fighting together. Yeah, that was in the Deathlock run that Dwayne McDuffie did. They've been in books together, but I would like to see them like go toe to toe, or go head to head with one another in a Black Panther Moses Magnum book, or Black Panther book, where he's the villain, he's the protagonist. I would like to see that. Now, Austin says I would like to see Amazing Man get his just due. Well, there's that. On the DC side, I love DC. I'm a DC guy. But they piss me off so bad. These guys, I have this love-hate relationship with DC because they have so many dope Black characters that they don't use. Shout out to Black Lightning, my number one character. Now we're getting ready to get a John Stewart run, but Amazing Man is another character they had that they don't use. That should get some love. They should bring back Jet. Shout out to Jamaica, Paul. I know you was bigging up Ghostlight for being Jamaican, but Jet was a Jamaican superhero as well for DC, which they killed. Now he says Martin Jackson, which Amazing Man? Well, I mean, they can do the father, they can reboot, they can do the father, they can do the son, they can do the grandson. It doesn't, to me, just have somebody wear the mantle. Moses Magnum is with all the other lost toys. like his Toy Story. I'm just saying. I did. I mean, I enjoyed thoroughly Chuck Brown's story that he did with I think it was Black Manta. That was a dope story. We had never had a story about Black Manta before that, to that degree. I love that. I love that run. That run was amazing. I wish they could have kept that going, but they didn't. So see, DC has failed so many black characters. Shout out to Signal. Well, you know what? A lot of people don't even care for Signal, bro. That's somebody I think should get a book or whatever. You know, we just finished. You know, John really just finished the I Am Batman, and you know, a lot of people didn't like it because you know they didn't want nobody else but Bruce Wayne to hold the mantle. I enjoyed John Ridley's run on I Am Batman. That was an amazing book. Matter of fact, the whole I Am Batman or John the whole John Ridley experience with Batman was incredible. Whether we're talking about his future state stuff, the Second Son stuff, and the I Am Batman stuff, we got a lot of good books, a lot of good stories out of that character. He was a legacy character, but you know, y'all remember Equinox. Yeah. Cole Marvel has see Cole, so has Marvel and Image DC at least more than 3 back titles out like Marvel. Jay says we need that team huddling put together, put that back together. Would you want to see another writer take the reins? I know I want Chris Allen's for the art. That would be cool. I'm still trying to figure out what Hudlin's doing with at Milestone. I, I, that's another story for another day, Jay. But yeah, I would be good with that. People bringing up, you know, Orpheus. Man, look, Orpheus. God, Orpheus to me was, man, that definitely hurt it, bro. I loved Orpheus. When I discovered that character, man, I read them stories. I was at that 5 issue, man, I was in love with that character. And all DC did was kill him in war games. I'm like, God. And the funny thing is, I just knew that I was going to be able to go in the rabbit hole and dig up a bunch of Orpheus and Onyx stories. There's not a whole lot of Onyx stories out there. He says, now, he's so funny. I need a black villain team not based on snakes, led by Centurious with Moses Magnum and Thunderball, 3 the hard way. Wow. Wow. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad at all. Oh, you know, guys, we could go on and on and on and on and on about what we wish we could see. If I had to put together a DC book myself, if they came to me and say, Rich, we want you to put together a DC limited series, 6 issues, who you grab? I got to get my boy Jefferson Pierce. I want Jefferson Pierce. I want John Stewart. Matter of fact, I just want a Black Justice League team. Black Lightning, John Stewart, Vixen, Nubia. Bring back Orpheus. Bring back Orpheus. Give me that team and against anybody. against anybody. Put them. Matter of fact, I'll put them against the Justice. Our Superman, Batman. Give me that. I don't need Val-Zod. Just give me them. Give me them, and I will be good. Give me that, and I'll be good. Yo, that's the cool thing about nerdom. You just can kind of geek out and just think about what could be. Yeah, DC got a lot of characters, man. They could use. They could do different things with. They got a shout out to John Jennings and Angelique Roche who are doing the My Superhero is Black thing, a book. When they put that out, that's going to be amazing. And I'm hoping that DC follows suit and puts out one for the Black superheroes and Black characters at DC because they have more. DC is sitting on a ton of Black characters, a ton. Will we see them ever again? Or some? Maybe not. But they do kill off a lot of their characters. Anyone remember a character named Muhammad X? Yeah. I mean, I thought Muhammad X, I thought Muhammad X was kind of funny in that, not in a buffoonish way or whatever. I just thought it was funny because Muhammad X to me could have been a character that they used from time to time as someone that kind of like was a consciousness of Superman, someone that Superman could go to and talk to about what was going on in the community. Because to me, he should have had that relationship with Jefferson Pierce, but they never approached that, which pisses me off because a lot of people don't know that Black Lightning's first encounter with DC character isn't Batman. He's worked with Batman and he's been in Batman books to ad nauseum, in Justice League books. First character he ever encountered was Superman. So that was a missed opportunity for them to do that with that character as well. But that again, that make some people look at it and frown upon him as being a legacy character. He said a parody of Umar Johnson before Umar Johnson. He did have some cool shades though, Herschel. He did have some cool shades. Look, guys, we are up on 2.5 hours, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's time for me to shut this down. And with that, man, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us on tonight. Please pre-order your comics. Support your local comic shop by pre-ordering and ordering by the final cutoff date. If you want to help creators stay in business, please get you a pull list with a comic shop. If you don't have a comic shop, that you can go to directly, look online. Things of Another World. Matter of fact, you can go to blackcomiclords.net and connect with Things of Another World there. And you can set your pull list up right there. But also, we want to bring you guys to attention to the reoccurring lives that we do and our recent specials. We just interviewed John Jennings on Friday night. And of course, as far as our live shows are concerned, we have Wakanda, Whiskey, and Blurtum. Paul and Mark, they tip back a few and talk comics and all things Blurtum. The ladies' lives, the ladies get together and they share some of their favorite comic book characters. And Tamiko heads that up with Angel and Brianna. And hopefully that squad will grow with some time. So talking to you, Sierra. And also you got your boy Real Talk with Rich. I do my shows on Saturday nights. And yeah, but our recent specials, we're doing a series with Ken Quattro. We've talked about a number of creators. That's been fun. Black creators have been around, artists have been around since the 40s. And we are digging into the history of that. So please stay tuned for that. We will have another show with Ken pretty soon. And of course, we've done some talk, whether we're talking about Morgan Hampton, who's currently writing Cyborg, and, a few others, whether we're talking about Tony Cottrell, we're talking about Lonzo Starr and Concrete Comics. We talk to everybody. So our range is out there, guys. We in these streets. And again, we talked about John Jennings, who talked about Shook. That book will come out next summer. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, There's a lot of content. Go to our YouTube channel, Black Comic Lords. If you want to reach us, you can hit us up on blackcomiclords.net, or you can go to our email address, blackcomiclords@gmail.com, with any questions, thoughts, concerns. Also, with that said, I'm going to get you the benediction. And in the benediction, we're going to talk about the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, verse 13 and 14. And it says this: let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. From the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, it's your boy Rich. Until next time, we say peace. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you when we see you. Have a good night. We out.